I knew I was going to have to talk about this when it happened, but I needed time to find the words. I couldn't come up with anything at the time but wordless pain and rage. A little over a week ago, several electrical substations in Moore County were shot up, leaving around 40,000 people without power. This is a couple of counties over from me, so it cuts really close to home. A local right-wing extremist who was involved in the January 6th insurrection posted on social media that she knew why it happened, posting a picture of the theater where a drag event had been interrupted by the outage with the caption, "God is not mocked." And the Moore County Sheriff went and had a private discussion with her and decided she didn't have anything to do with it. She's fine. Let's be clear. Homophobic and transphobic violence, nothing new. I grew up in the era of conversion therapy. I was a kid when the murders of Matthew Shepard and Brandon Tina made the news. And the world hasn't changed to the extent that we'd like to think it has. According to the FBI, 18.8% of single bias hate crimes are committed on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity. And those are just the ones that get reported. 33 states, including here in North Carolina, still allow the so-called gay panic defense, where people can use "queer people freak me out" to claim a hate crime was self-defense. It was successfully used in a murder trial as recently as 2018. But what the Moore County attacks show us is that we aren't the only ones who are affected by allowing hate against our community. Even if you're cisgender and straight, violence against us can still affect you. Just because you're willing to let it be our problem doesn't mean it'll stay that way, as the tens of thousands of people who are left for a week without power or heat or refrigeration for their food and medicine will tell you. There's no such thing as someone else's oppression that doesn't affect you. Right now, there's a lot of talk about LGBTQ folks getting armed and getting trained, like there was after Pulse, like there was when news outlets were actually covering the murders of trans women. And for individual targeted attacks, I don't know whether that'll help or not. I know my home is protected, but I can't make that decision for anybody else. What I do know, with the Club Q shooting and the attacks in Moore County happening this close together, is that it's no longer a case of individual attacks. Whole communities are being attacked just for our existing within them, as part of an ideology driven by hate. The problem is cultural, and that means so is the solution. That means speaking out against that narrative wherever it pops up. I don't care if it's your school board, your boss, your boyfriend, or your 80-year-old meemaw. If homophobes feel safe spewing their vitriol around you, queer people aren't safe around you at all. This is where the rubber hits the road. Either you value and defend our humanity as equal to your own, or you don't. People like me will probably be fine. I'm femme and I'm in a relationship with a man. People don't look at me and realize that I'm non-binary and pansexual. I don't even correct people on my pronouns half the time. I can hide in plain sight. But the people in our community who can't hide deserve the same safety and the same protection that I do. And hiding for our lives is not the same thing as living free. You're either on our side and willing to speak in our defense anywhere and to anyone you have to, or you're not. It is too late. It has gone too far, and you can't look away anymore.